We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Vlasic, it is the extreme heat chips. So we've got some, this is nonsense, and I'll get to that in a second. There's wild, there is medium hot. These are very hot, and then there's supposedly a scary hot, except scary hot doesn't exist, so it clearly is a gimmick. Are they going to introduce a scary hot? I don't know. Who knows? This is clearly intended to be at a very specific line of pickles, and I'll get into that momentarily as well. So we have a unnamed pepper, dehydrated red peppers. So that could be literally anything. You can see they're kind of floating around in there. Fresnos, could be red jalapeno, could be cayenne. Probably one of those, if I'm guessing here. You can see the little bit cloudy water, usual pickling spices in here. Let's crack these babies open. Look good. And so they did, this is kind of a smart thing. They cut these nice and thick so that there's some heft to them and they won't get too soggy. But they're, Vlasic always generally has good looking stuff. So let's get into this and just see what we have to deal with here. So they're going for a sweet, spicy here. Except there's no spice to them so far. This reminds me a bit actually of the Sucker Punch. And there's a video floating around for that if you want to check it out. What I think they're going for though, with this so-called extreme heat business, is the Devil's Spit from Famous Dave. So let's get that out of the way right now. I've had a lot of requests, a lot of people asking me why I don't do Devil Spit, or why I haven't done Devil Spit. So Devil Spit is a, I guess, flavoring system from a chain barbecue restaurant called Famous Dave's. And Famous Dave's can be okay. It's really, I found it to be really hit or miss, depending on which location you go to, depending on what time you go there. But they can be okay-ish. They've got a garbage, first time I ever saw one of those garbage pail appetizer things was there. They've got that sort of a tone to them. It's just your sort of family barbecue type place, I guess. There's a few of those floating around, chains around the country. Anyway, Devil Spit is supposedly, well, I'm familiar with them for being their hottest barbecue sauce line. That was where I was familiar with it, but that was also probably the worst tasting barbecue sauce they had as far as I was concerned. Very bitterish, kind of gnarly. It was certainly the hottest of the barbecue sauces, but I would also say it was probably the worst of the barbecue sauces, or at least one of the worst. Apparently they moved that into pickles, so I've kind of resisted this for a couple of years, but I've had kind of, since I've been doing these FOH videos, I've had people say, why don't you do this, or have you done this, or why haven't you done this, so on and so forth. And the reason I haven't is because I didn't find it to be particularly hot or interesting or flavorful or anything like that. But I'm all about giving the people what they want as long as it fits within certain parameters. So anyway, I went to the grocery store today. As maybe an hour ago or so is when I got back. And I looked for the Devil Spit. It's on retailers' shelves. It's on grocery stores. I think it's in Walmart. It's pretty universally available. Anyway, I picked up a jar and I looked at it, and there was, I kid you not, this much across the bottom of the jar of onions. And onions, for me, are a very, very hard no. There's no food that contains them that's going to ever taste good enough to me to be worth getting sick over. And I don't like the flavor of them anyway. So I took a pass on them, but I also saw these. And these, I think, are pretty clearly aimed at the whole Devil Spit thing. Will there be a scary hot version coming out? Maybe they're building something for Halloween. I mean, pickles, I think, are more of a summer food. So I don't know. But anyway, so there's your answer for people who are interested in suggesting Devil Spit. No, I'm not doing that unless they get rid of the onions in it. But this is clearly aimed at that, so this could be a really good alternative to it. It's got the sort of a sweet vibe to it that really, really reminds me a lot of the Sucker Punch. There is also a sweet heat that I didn't get from them. Famous Dave's also has a pickle called Sweet Heat, I believe, also as well. So I think this is kind of where Vlasic is aimed at, is at that demographic that might eat those or pick those up. These are nice. Flavor's good. Vlasic, they've been a name forever. It's really hard to go wrong with them. I still got a fork. Alright, so we're going to munch a few more of these and see if we can get any sort of heat at all out of this. There's something there, but it's like almost a trace. It's extremely mild. Or try something. Of course, you always have to agitate your hot sauces. Let's see what happens if we agitate the pickles. Will it change anything? Will it improve anything? I don't know, but there's peppers floating on top now. Let's see if I can get one. Alright, there's a slight bit more spice to it now. I call it a default one. Very, very low key though. Then again, Devil Spit is not anything I would consider particularly hot either. Okay. Just eating pickles to eat pickles at this point. We don't need to do that. Okay, so where do these fall? They're not. So the hot damn, I think, is probably there is. I know Mikey V's has got a Reaper pickle or something that I'm gonna try to get to as well. But for right now, I've got a little bit of a very, very, very low range sort of feeling in my mouth that I had something spicy, but it's very, very minimal. I'm hard pressed to even call. I don't think I'm gonna call this a legit one. Call it a default one. As far as flavor, it is, I think, the equal of the Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is slightly hotter than this, and the Hot Damn was hotter than both of them, and it also. So I don't like my pickles to be sweet particularly. I don't mind it here, and I didn't really mind it too much in the Sucker Punch. but it is not my druthers, right? It's not my first choice. So the hot damn was probably my preference as far as that goes. But this, so as far as flavor, I would say this is probably equal to the Sucker Punch, which I did like quite a bit. In terms of heat, this is probably, I'd say probably the mildest of the pickles, which I kind of expect with the national brand. When Heinz did their habanero ketchup, and you can check out that video, I've done that as well. That sort of level where it's just very, very tame because it's a mass market product. And when you're a mass market product, you have to appeal to as wide of a demographic as possible before you even go to market. A lot of people for pickles and ketchup, I don't think, are looking to set themselves on fire because a lot of those are children. And I was myself, and probably some of the other chili heads, I think was probably the exception, where we did enjoy stuff like that. We always had a lust for the spicy, but I think a lot of other people sort of developed that over time. So I think that's why their approach is there. But these are well worth picking out. I mean, there's a nice little charge. It's very, very moderate. It's more than nothing though, so I'm giving it a default 1. Flavor, of course, is quite good, as you would expect from Vlasic. If you don't like a little bit of sweetness to your pickles, this is probably one that you can safely skip. If you prefer more of a straightforward dill or kosher dill or garlic dill, this one definitely, the sweetness is fairly pronounced. But I'm really glad to see, we're having this is now the 3rd year in a row where I've seen more and more products sort of angling themselves, at least through marketing if nothing else, at the sort of chili head audience. So we've seen a lot of hot honeys. When I was shopping for this, I saw the infused Heinz 57 honey on the shelf. There's a video for that, by the way. You can check around for that if you wish as well. And hot honeys was I think kind of the craze for a while. Maybe pickles is going to be part of it. The ketchup is sort of a novel thing, so I'm really excited to see companies doing that, and I hope that trend continues for a while longer. It never seems like it goes long enough, but fingers crossed on that. But anyway, as far as this, definitely worth picking up, especially if you like pickles, and you just don't expect too much of a heat out of it, and we'll leave it there. So there it is, the Vlasic Extreme Heat Pickle Chips. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.